Okay, we're with John and son Liam. Liam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Liam, and I'm in 5th grade at San Domenico School in Marin, and I sail the Melges 20. And what I like about it is it's fast, hard, and has a good class.
All right. John, you got into the Melges 20 how many years ago?
I think just a couple of years ago. I actually bought one with the idea that Liam and I could sail it, and my wife got a rumor that I was getting him a Melges 20 at the age of 9, and she confronted me with that, and I could see she was a little irritated. I said, oh, no, this is a training boat for the Samba 32 program, and Liam will get to sail it once in a while. And then a year later, he was sailing.
All right. All right, and you did pretty well on the Worlds that first day, Liam. What was that like?
It was fun. I enjoyed it. We did well. Hope we do it again.
Okay.
Here next year.
You're looking forward to the Worlds here in 2015, yeah?
Yeah.
So you're training for that now, right?
Yeah.
And how many days a week does you and Dad get out to go and train?
Well, it kind of depends. I mean, he worked out a deal with San Domenico, with the head mistress and his teachers, that he could take time off for his sailing. And here this last week it was basically half days, and next week it'll be half days for the North Americans. He missed the first week of school this year because of the Worlds in Italy. But they said it was fine as long as he got his studies done and has to keep that up. And his whole sailing team, Steve and Stephanie and Erik, are all aboard with making sure Liam does the things he needs to do to keep, up on his schoolwork. And, so we take time off as necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of big sailors out there, big name sailors, big talent out there. And when you're out on the line, at the start, at the marks and whatnot, things get tight. How do you handle the pressure there, Liam?
I just take it like any other race and hope I do good.
And you don't let the big boys intimidate you?
No.
Okay. When you're racing against your dad out there on a race, you cut him any slack or no?
Maybe sometimes.
I don't think so. I've not seen him cut me any slack. I'll tell you what's really cool though is we're exchanging tacks, and like yesterday he was ahead of us a lot, and I could see him as we're on one tack and he's on the other crossing us, and he's looking back and he's waving, not waving like sarcastically or smart aleck, but waving like, hey, this is really a fun thing that we're doing. And I love that. We're having a lot of fun. We did a lot of match racing practices this year, a lot of sailing in 35 knots with kites up on the bay, and Liam's just become fearless. And the thing that Steve Hunt, his tactician, says is that Liam has a great feel and he's really calm. And just a thing about the name of his boat, why did you get the name Wildman?
Because I was the calmest kid ever when I was a baby.
So my wife Catherine started calling him Wildman. So when he decided to do a 20 program, and we said, okay, if you treat it seriously, we said, what are you going to name it? And he goes, well, I'll give it my nickname. We'll call it Wildman. So it's so funny that he's the calmest kid in the world, and he's got a boat named Wildman. More like your dad should have that, right?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, you have to be stoked that your offspring are sailing with you and actually doing very, very well. How's that feel to be a dad and have that position going on?
Oh, it's great. I had somebody after the Worlds, the day we'd finished, a reporter in Europe say, John, you've been good, had the good fortune to win a bunch of world championships and set a bunch of sailing course records in ocean racing, and how does this rate and all the rest? And I said, well, it rates up there, it's great, but the thing that's the best thing that's happened to me in sailing is to be sailing against Liam and to see him have the love for it. It's 3 generations of Kilroy men that have been out there loving sailing and doing pretty well in it. And the big guess or bet is between the Wildman teams and the Samba teams is what's going to happen first. Is Liam going to be taller than his dad, beat his dad regularly in sailing, and I think there was something else, I'm not sure what it was.
And if I was gonna outgrow him in my shoe size.
Yeah, shoe size. Well, I'm thinking shoe size is going to happen first.
And then sailing.
And then probably his height. I hope it's your height before you're sailing, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get me in all 3 categories.
What else we got going on here? You guys are back out here next week.
Now, what are we sailing next week?
Same boat.
No, but I mean in what?
NAs.
Which are?
The North Americans.
North Americans. And then we have, then I go back to the 32s. We've got the Worlds coming up in December in Florida, in Miami.
Okay.
And then Liam and I sail against one another in Florida, in Key Biscayne, in February and in March. He just said to me, "Ian, you're going down, Dad." And then the Worlds are back here next year, and we're going to do a lot of training here. This kid's only getting better and better. Don't want to put much pressure on you, Liam.
Okay.
But he's.
Well, I think the next thing's going to be putting too much pressure on you.
Somebody said to me the other day, "John, how are you gonna deal with it if he beats you in the Worlds?" And I said, I'm gonna be the proudest guy in the world, right?
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk a little bit about the Melges 20 itself and how that kind of works as a family boat, and how you feel that it reacts, or how you would trust that boat compared to any other boat to put Liam on and have him go at it.
Well, I've been doing this game a long time in ocean racers, and this is the smallest boat I've ever raced, other than when I was a little kid when I did do a dinghy race here or there. But I basically grew up on big boats in ocean racing, and then over the years I went down to 2-tonners and 1-tonners, and then Transpac 52s, and the Melges 32s, and now this smallest boat I've ever sailed. It is the most fun boat. It's really fast. It's really lights up downwind. You're close to the water, so the sensation of speed is fantastic. It's not, it's a relatively easy boat to sail, but it's not for beginners if you're going to sail it here on the bay or any place that's breezy. So for Liam, the first thing that when he got together and asked me, "Dad, can I put together a team? Because you've got a second boat." I said, "Yeah, but you got to put your team together, and it's got to be a really good team." So he picked Steve Hunt, who's the top high school coach in the country, and one of the top tacticians in the world, and probably just has the attitude that is the best suited to working with a young man. And then they together picked Stephanie Roble, who's the women's top match racing driver here in the United States, and Erik Shampain, who's been around, is just one of the greatest sailors and greatest trimmers. So he has a team around him that are very experienced and are going to help keep him out of trouble. That doesn't mean that they're not going to have their issues here and there, because we all do. But if it hadn't been for that kind of team, I would have felt uncomfortable having Liam. I wouldn't set him loose with just a bunch of his peers. But having said that, I think he exceeded all of our expectations, right, Steve? I mean, the thought was. I mean, tell me what the thought was. Less than a year ago when Liam first started helming one.
We didn't know how it was going to work out when we first started, or how good Liam was going to be. I sailed with him a few days and noticed he had a good feel for the helm, but being so young, he was 10 years old then. So we went to our first regatta after a few days of practice, and I had told his dad, if it gets windy, we might not finish the race, or if we're getting nervous, we might not start a race. We might go off to the side and just practice and watch and kind of do our own thing until, just see how comfortable he gets and how well he does. And we showed up to the Bacardi regatta last spring, this past spring, and Liam was full game time. He focused really hard, and the very first practice race we did with about 13 boats, we won the race.
I think you won the first 2 practice races. Yeah.
So right out of the blocks, we were doing extremely well. And then the first day of the regatta, I think we were in probably 18th place or so out of 43 boats. 17th, and then all top 22 finishes. And then the second day of the regatta, it was howling. It was blowing 20 to 30. And on the way out, I was just thinking, all right, guys, this is the big breeze day. Let's be real safe. If we want to go in, we can go in. And Liam said, "You know what? There's some people in this fleet that don't think I should be out here." He's like, "Today I'm going to prove them wrong." and we actually kicked butt. We did so well, and we moved up to, what place did we get? 12th overall. Yeah, we moved up to 12th overall, just kicked butt in the 3 breezy races, and a lot of people were wiping out left and right. We never wiped out. He did so well, and super calm. A lot of people broke their masts. It was a really gnarly day. And after that day, I thought, okay, this kid's got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you know, something about what Steve was saying, the goals that we put together for Liam basically revolve around safety, appreciation for sailing, love for sailing, and I think I said to Steve, hey, I want him to love sailing at 22 as much as he does now, if not more, and even more at 32. So let's not burn him out. Let's not set high expectations. Let's make sure he understands the camaraderie. He understood the social side and so forth because he's been around it all of his life. And the safety and the responsibility. And this is something I've been really proud of, is that he's demonstrated all that, and his crew works on him. I mean, they don't let him get away with just, you know, hanging around. I mean, I come down, I kind of hang around, work on the phone, and all the rest. I wouldn't know how to, you know, lead any of those sails or sheets or whatever. Liam's learning all that, which is great. And so, you know, we had a very defined goal. And then what happened a little bit earlier, I guess back in summer, you know, so much of sailing these boats is the kinetics and, you know, where to put your weight when. So Steve started taking him over to 29er sailing over at Richmond Yacht Club, and, you know, I think you have to be kind of high schoolers or whatever, and Steve knows the coach over there, and the guy saw Liam sail and whatnot, and said, okay, you can join in as a young guy at 10 in the 29er program. So he's been sailing that, really understanding the kinetics, and, you know, again, Steve, I think you said that, you know, it was pretty green to begin with. It was all new, trapezes and all this stuff, and now he's progressing to understand it more, and that's kind of the program he's going to be in, sailing 29ers, sailing with Steve down on FJs with his high school team in San Diego, and then, you know, practicing the 20s, and then I guess Paul Goodison, and you were going to go moth sailing, is that right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
And maybe doing some, Paul Goodison signed on with the Artemis program, so he wants Liam to get involved in foiling catamarans, so I think somebody's got a pretty cool couple of years ahead of him.
Yeah, is that next big jump for you, Liam, is doing some foiling in the...
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You just need to find a sponsor other than Dad and Mom.
Kanan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that should wrap it up.
Okay, well, thank you, Erik.
Well, thank you.